Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Learning to Die Less. It is the commencement party again. Commencement party number 2, finishing episode number 3, overall episode number 15, and there are your useless stats of the episode. Here we're coming up against an Iron Ball Titan, and we are going to summon Ryanek, who is going to put some evil machinations into the works that will take just about the amount of time you need to make a cup of soup before finally felling the Titan with over 8,000 points of damage. It's here where I want to make a couple quick acknowledgements. Personally, I want to say thank you to Doran on the NetSlum Discord, Gambit in the game if you ever run into him. He popped this Staff of Truth and the awesome summons it brings in a statue chest and was nice enough to trade it to me. I am very grateful for that because now I can nuke this Sphinx Menhir in beautiful HD if you so choose to view it, all the way up to 1080p, and that's where my other thank you comes in to Snownomi. Overall cool guy. One of the things he did that I don't think I pointed out enough was he recommended the editing software I'm using. Not obviously sponsored by Sony for their Vegas movie studio, but I did pick it up and gave it a try, and now that I'm getting the hang of it, I feel that the results speak for themselves and are mostly positive. Here you can see I'm up against an Arc Prince and a Sphinx Menhir, two enemies that could revive each other if given the chance. So I choose to hit them from two different angles, each getting a decent target, so they're able to be finished off simultaneously. Drains my skill points a bit, but because my pool is so high at this point, I'm in the low 50s in level. It doesn't take much more than a risky treasure and stopping to pick him in Dragora before I'm able to once again pop a Yarthgin's Thaw on an Iron Ball Titan. Just sort of thinking economically there, trying to save my artisan souls for more emergency situations. Ryanek didn't quite do the job, so we went ahead and cast a Rejuke Rom. Pick up a Plasma Gale out of the chest. Rejuke Rom, what piece of gear is that on? Well, let's see here. Boots are earth. Yeah, Hunting Guard, wood. There it is. Rejuke Rom, level 3 Tornado. If you've watched the previous videos, you know I'm a fan of the Tornado spells. And if you haven't, you now know I'm a fan of the Tornado spells. Moving to our next encounter here. This one's a doozy. So you've got 3 Arc Princes here, and we're going to lock them down with a Ryanek. But as they're locked down, you see 2 Sphinx Menhirs rolling in. So I circled the entire way around the encounter and pop an Artisan Soul before once again casting Ryanek, but as I do so, I'm paralyzed. Fortunately, I'm paralyzed at a point the Sphinx Menhirs still had to walk around the Arc Princes, and the Princes were locked in place by the cast. So I make it out of the paralyzed with the minimum amount of damage possible, and even manage to take out an Arc Prince before anything could revive it. Not going to be so lucky the entire time through this encounter, as we're going to see a Menhir revive a fallen Arc Prince right there, but the other Menhir fell. There goes an Arc Prince. And I cast a Vulcan, which was not the best call there, as the Arc Princes are fire tolerant. Do manage to get ourselves in a position where we're able to take the Sphinx Menhir down and finish the Arc Prince off with a Yarthgin's. So overall, that went about as smoothly as 5 enemies possibly reviving each other could. And it was a really cool encounter to capture, so I wanted to take a moment and highlight that. This is going to be somewhat rambling, as the previous 8 attempts to record audio for this video have told me I just don't have a ton of focus. That's for 2 reasons. One, because I really want to say things in as polished a manner as I can in these videos, because making the Learning to Die Less videos always did hold a little more importance to me. Not that I don't take the other ones with as much as I could, but there's a little something extra to this. This series was actually the first upload I did on the channel, so coming to the 15th one here, and this being the last one of the little revisit we're doing, it's just a little extra special, and I've been fumbling with the words, with the tone and everything. The other reason I've been fumbling so much is because this is honestly an improvisation. A week ago, I had a very definite plan in my head for where I wanted to take this episode. And I could say rather happily that I was proven wrong as to the need for the episode I was planning on making. I was going to point out that there's just not enough fragment content in the world, and that now more than ever, the efforts of the translation team, of the coders, of the server hosts, of the Discord mods and administrators and owners, and the community as a whole, everybody who gets together and makes everything from helping new players set up and get their stuff patched and explain that you need the 86 plugins, not the 64s, because the 86 are the ones that work, to Fragment Fridays, where we all just get together and goof off in voice chat, and people streaming runs on Discord and everything. It's just such an awesome thing that this, I feel, really needs as much digital preservation as possible, and it would be great to get the word out to more and more people. So that was the tone I was going to take. And then over the course of the past week, I have found myself eating crow on that very subject several times, because every time I turn around, there's somebody new with another fragment video or an upload or a stream. So I apologize for having my head in the sand on that. It's a delightful thing to be wrong on, and it has been great watching all of this newer content coming out. I've always half-jokingly said that I shouldn't be a visible member of any community. One, because I'm kind of a hack at this. I'm not great. I'm not even good. Two, because communities really thrive when there's a diverse group of people supporting it. You need many voices. You need different perspectives. One of the things that tickle me about doing collaborative runs like we had just done this past Friday is you get to see everything you could possibly want to. Between Foremost and myself, we had captured a dungeon run, actually a pair of them, and you could see them from my character's perspective, from his character's perspective. He got some awesome audio in on his, capturing the game sounds. The audio for mine was screwed up, so I sadly had to junk the whole audio and just dub over it, but instead you get me rambling even more. Apologies for that. Even had a little funny bit at the end where I was kind of ready to peace out at the end, and Foremost got ambushed and fought his bravest, and I just kept getting charmed over and over again by the three-headed snake beast. Finally finishing up the field portals. Also feel I'm finishing up a good bit of my rambling. I'm sure I'll go off on a tangent again, yet another thing to be expected in these videos. But for now, to the dungeon we go, and to the water I drink. I guess that was of the water I drink, but if I'm going to speak awkwardly, I suppose speaking correctly doesn't matter either. First room is a large sideways T. Coming out of the portal, we have a Sphinx Menhir and a Squid Bod. Took me all day to remember the name Squid Bod. Fortunately, I've done so many takes of this that there's virtually nothing in this video that would surprise me now, save for actually reaching the end. Had intended to get this out by noon. I don't even think it will render by then. So if you've ever wondered what's been holding up my videos of late, it's a combination of an antique computer and me just going, nah, that sucks, and cutting my audio 11 times. 3 more squid bods here. Gonna pop a Rhineck, as they are Thunder Element monsters. Then gonna back off a little because I know I'm not gonna finish the job here. They're still grouped pretty close, so I'm gonna pop an Artisan Soul and finish off the 2 remaining with a Rejuke ROM in the effort to save a little bit of SP. It is worth noting that I'm still picking up 7 experience a pop off of them. So a nice 21 point boost there. Moving up, going to encounter an Iron Ball Titan here. Time for another Rhineck encounter. These just never get old. They really never get old. Now making our way to this dead-end hallway at the top of the map. Big long corridor with a portal at the end, and out of that portal jumps a Menhir and a Squidbot. Gonna target the Menhir. It may be a little overkill on its part. The Rhineck is going to do more than enough lethal damage. But I did want to make sure it was down, because I would rather just kill the Squidbot once instead of twice. So making sure that reviving enemy did not get the chance to elongate the combat. Little bit of backtracking now. It's kind of strange to think I did the first 10 episodes inside of a month. Not a calendar month, mind you, but I think I started in late August. I want to say it was like the 19th or something, and I wrapped up by mid-September on the 10th episode. So I've taken twice the time on half the episodes here. But I think we covered things in a bit more detail, and I think we covered some more inclusive topics, and were generally more helpful overall in these episodes. And the series, as a series, as far as I'm concerned, is done. May come back for a one-shot every now and then, but I don't see doing this again as far as episodes on a scheduled time coming out. Even the first 10 I didn't really have a scheduled time, but it was sort of just getting my feet wet on this YouTube thing, and it was come home, feel like doing a video, and do a video. By and large, that's still where I am on it, but I've tried to work a bit of a schedule around. Got another Rhineck summons here. Again, doesn't quite do the job, but we're able to follow up pretty smooth with a Rejuke ROM. And back we are. Had to take a little bit of a pause there. Pass up an immature egg. Don't really know why I passed that up there. We'll be heading down to the second floor now. Finally made it to the second floor. Pop another Fairy's Orb and get our boosts up. That said, if you've never gone back and watched some of the older takes, there are a few takes of the One Sin event floating around YouTube. I know iPesty Gaming has one, Alkalime has one up. I want to say Bison's in that video with Alkalime, along with Not Wise Man, who's probably my favorite character name of all time. Snonami just last year in December tried to solo the one sin. Such an awesome thing, and there are plenty of people floating around, even still playing the game, who have defeated the one sin. So it's A, the toughest boss in the game, and B, something you could find plenty of information on if you're curious about it. I know Erroneous on the .hack network Discord was just talking to somebody who was looking to model the dragon from that encounter, and was talking to them about it. Making our way through the second floor here. This one's also pretty well spread out. This dungeon must have been a logistics nightmare to engineer. Was gonna go down, saw that was the stairs down, and figured I would polish off this left branch first. Got a long L-shaped room that sorta widens out in the corner. Pick up an arc prince and a squid bod, and you can see what I'm talking about on the time it takes Rhynek to land. I got a Rejuke ROM off, and the arc prince was able to paralyze me. And now it's just the most boring footage you'll see in this video, hopefully, as the arc prince stared at me after paralyzing me, and then finally decided to attack as the paralyzation wore off. Not sad about that outcome, but certainly not the most exciting footage. You'd think I could have at least rotated the camera for a side view of that to build tension up. Not this guy. Pop an Artisan Soul, and into the next room we go. Coming out of the portal here is going to be a Sphinx Menhir, and I decide to have a little fun. I pop Rhynek, and then I decide to duck down this side corridor and see if I could get to the corner before it actually died. I do believe it beat me to that, as the Menhir was able to cast on me. It got a spell off before I could do anything. But I did pick up a Plasma Gale, got to the chest at least around the time it was dying. Those level 4 summons. Powerful, and they take their time to let you know it. A little bit of backtracking here before we get to the stairs to the 3rd floor. Just an arc prince on its own, so I do the dumbest thing possible and throw a fire attack at something that's completely immune to fire damage. Could have solved that with a deck Vax. That would lower the fire resistance if it hit. If you're really fire spec'd out, you should probably carry those, or carry a piece of gear with deck Vax on it in case you run into something fire tolerant. Personally, I prefer to just have as much gear on as possible with different element attacks, so I don't have to do more than hit a different shortcut. And like I had shown in a previous episode of this series, as a Wave Master, being able to attack from range, if you have the space available, swapping out once you get used to the buttons to different gear to pop on a new shortcut isn't the most difficult thing on the planet. Throwing a Rejuke ROM as preliminary damage to finish this encounter off on one shot, and as an added bonus, we finish it off before the Menhir's lightning spell could hit. So we get Thunderbolts crashing down for show and a Plasma Gale out of a chest. Moving to this dead-end room here. Got a long, narrow corridor moving and widening out to a little stage area at the end. Couple of Sphinx Menhir and an empty altar. Once again finishing off the Menhir before their attack could hit. That would be some type of ride-on if I had to guess. Obviously it's not the level 1 variant, but it's something in that family as it's dropping thunder from the sky to this guy. Plasma Gale out of the chest. break a couple jars to no avail, and a pretty straightforward and brief floor here. One more portal to go, and it's got a risky treasure in it, so let's grab these stealth blades and then defuse our risky business. Doubling up on the stealth blades for this room before heading down to floor number 4. Time for another fairy's orb. Got a C-shaped room coming up. Not always the most navigation-friendly rooms, but they are unique. See, I'm going to run towards the altars on either end, pick up an immature egg, and I'm going to actually let the encounter come to me. Got a Menhir wandering its way down here. Got another enemy coming up the right side, so one of the monsters got trapped on the top side of the screen there, and is going to wait for us at the other end. Here's a Mad Witch, able to take that out easily with the Rejuke Rom. Our most mana efficient spell also takes out the Mad Witch in one shot. Unfortunately, we're still a little light for a summon, so we have to wait a second before taking out this Sphinx Menhir, which was the one trapped on the top half of the C-shaped room. And then Rhynek missed. Really a bummer when a level 4 summon misses, in part because that's a lot of damage that could have been done, and in part because that's 10 seconds of your life you'll never see again. Unless you record it and go to upload it to YouTube. Wow, that was a really bad example in that part, wasn't it? Oh well, moving on. Got another Mad Witch and a Sphinx Menhir. Popped the Rhynek on the Mad Witch, realized my error, and got a Rejuke Rom in just to make sure the job was done. Nice thing is we still had enough SP for a heal had it come to that. Bad thing is we still have nowhere near enough SP to fight this Arc Prince and Menhir combination. So they're able to spread out a bit, and now we have to drain our bar completely again, just to make sure they're all hit. And the magical accuracy is not in our favor that time, as we end up having to cast another summons just to finish the job. Do get through it though, and we are on to the next room. Yarthkins works well on the Arth Prince, but not so much on the Mad Witch, so I go to take out the Mad Witch with a Rejuke Rom, but it doesn't quite finish off the Arc Prince, who ends up reviving the Mad Witch. Out in the field, I made a combat a lot simpler than it could have potentially been, and in the dungeon it seems I'm just making the combats harder than they ever needed to be. But you live, you learn, right? Moving to the next room. Kind of a bowed out hallway here. Starting to take a little bit of damage. It's kind of noticeable on the old health bar. But that's another encounter down, and the nice thing about wielding the level of magic power we are wielding is we know if we connect, it's going to go in our favor. We've got finisher spells and we are using them to our advantage. Here Rhynek targeting the Sphinx Menhir, and we throw in what I thought was going to be a finishing Rejuke Rom until I realized that the two monsters in the back were Arc Princes, and that we had only just begun. Eventually finished them off with Yarthkins, handing out rocks like a Charlie Brown Halloween special. Nothing in that corpse, and we are heading down to the 5th floor. One more fairy Zord. It's at this point where even recording the video for the first time, I was getting a bit drowsy and the wires were a little crossed. I'll put it that way. Coming up on a portal here, we've got a Mad Witch, 2 Sphinx Menhir, and an Arc Prince. Relying on Rhynek a lot here. That would have been a situation where Vulcan would have been okay on the Mad Witch too, as I don't think it really would have mattered one way or another on the Arc Prince. Pick up a Plasma Gale there. Mad Witch you want to deal with rather quickly though, because they can paralyze. Pretty sure they can paralyze. It's either paralyze or sleep. I think the maidens are asleep, though. See our treasure room down there to the bottom left of the mini-map. So we're instead going to take the fork up from the semicircle room and finish off our last couple of encounters. 2 Arc Prince and a Sphinx Menhir. A dance we've had a few times here today. Magic Evasion coming to our aid there. And just trying to finish it off with some Rejuke ROMs. Once again, not working out for us. We gotta call out Yarthkins one more time to level things down. We're finally finishing out it off with another Rejuke ROM. One more portal to go. Starting strong out of the gate, there's the all clear, but of course because I used Yarthkins, no damage done to the Mad Witch. And because I stopped to take out the Mad Witch, the Arc Prince was only too happy to oblige, reviving said Mad Witch. Finally got it under wraps. Rhynek takes them all out simultaneously while we stand in the middle for dramatic effect, and pan slowly from right to left. Fortune wire on that chest gives us a stealth blades, and there is little to do but check out the statue room. Maybe my final walk to the statue room for this series, but certainly not for this Wave Master. Do plan on doing a bit more of the random fragment uploads. Obviously the Weekend Warrior will become more of a fixture at this point, and there's always the Fragment Friday. You never know what I'll be running on those, although it's been Blade Master fairly heavily recently. Might have to switch that up at this point. Taking a nice slow walk. At this point, as much as I want this video to end, I'm sad to see the series go. Time to open the chest, though. We get Sigari and 2 Emperor's Souls. I want to thank you for taking this little bit of a journey with me. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming with Learning to Die Less, another episode of Dot Hack Fragment in the books. Hope you're doing well out there. Take care, and we'll see you around.